the day that when you start writing your article and then day that you actually see your article being published is a long journey. It could take a year. Hi everyone, you're gonna see me again. Yesterday I released a video regarding how to publish articles as a law student, and apparently some of you guys find it pretty useful. So I'm just gonna make another video so that I can help you guys navigate the whole publishing process, because this is always very difficult to begin with when it comes to publishing legal articles. Also, thank you for you guys' support for my recent video with Harry Clark as well on obtaining training contract. I hope that is helpful for you guys as well. But anyway, let's jump right into the publication process. So the first step of the whole publication process is to submit your article to a suitable and appropriate journal. So this step is pretty crucial and it's quite, obvious. I mean, after you finish your article, you're gonna find some journal to actually publish it. How does that work? Usually, when you finish your article, you already locate a specific journal that you want to submit your article to. When you look at the journal, firstly, you need to identify the goal and the specific theme of that journal, whether it actually suits and caters for the needs of your article, whether they share a very similar common theme and also a very similar topic or area of law. For example, if you want to submit journals on comparative contract law, like what I did, you want to submit it to maybe a journal that focuses on a comparative study. There are a number of journals I will show you guys, they actually focus on a comparative law or international law. Also, secondly, if your journal article concerns multiple jurisdictions, there's actually a chance that you can submit their article to multiple journals located in different jurisdictions. For example, I told you I published that article about German contract law and English contract laws, also Hong Kong contract law. That means my article could actually be published in a contract law journal in Asia, or a contract law journals in UK, and even a contract law journal in Europe. So that's why ultimately my article on comparative contract law was actually published in the European Review of Private Law. And also sometimes many journals, they don't have a very specific theme. There's so many law review like Cambridge Law Review, or just any law journals at different universities. They usually welcome a more wide variety of articles from different authors all over the world, so that for those kind of journals, they're more open to different kinds of topics. So if you have topics that you find it difficult to fall into a specific category, it's always good for you to submit that to the law review at some reputable universities, because they don't really have a specific theme. Another reminder for you guys is that if this is your first time to submit an article for publication, I don't actually recommend you to submit it to a US law journal. There are actually a number of very reputable and prestigious law journals in the US. However, one drawback of those journals is that they don't usually allow students to publish their work in their journals. They usually welcome professionals, practitioners, or scholars, PhD candidates to actually submit their articles to their journals. I would say in general, I recommend you to submit that articles in journals in Europe or in the UK or in Asia specific regions. I think your article will have a higher chance of being published in that case scenario. After locating the appropriate journals for your article, a few things you need to make sure. Make sure your citations style matches the citation guidelines imposed by that journal. Also, make sure that you follow all the structure the journal actually requires you to do in your paper, and also follow all the word limits and footnotes requirements. Sometimes some journals require you to exclude the footnotes when they specify the word limit of your article, but some journals, they actually include the footnotes. So in that case, you need to be careful. You don't want to exceed the word limits, because most journals has a very limited space for each issue. So they don't want to actually accept an article that is overly lengthy. So that ideally you want to actually fall within the exact word limit that the journal is specifying. So in case your article doesn't fit into the citation guidelines or exceeds the word limits, there is a high chance that your article will be rejected outright. That's not because of the quality of the article is bad or whatsoever, it's just because of the fact that you don't follow the rules. Just don't make this stupid mistake, follow all the rules before you actually submit the article to that journals. Some journals, they have a strict requirement asking you to actually submit the article exclusively to their journal. so that you can submit it to other journals. Some journals, especially in Europe or in Asia, they actually allow you to submit that article to multiple journals so that they don't actually care that much. So in that case, you need to adapt your citation styles to all those different styles imposed by different journals. That will be a lot of work. In case your article fits in all the procedural requirements or specific structural requirements of the journals, then there will usually be a preliminary review of your article. Editors of the journals may have a quick look at the content of your article, the background or the conclusion of your article, so that they will decide whether your article has a high chance of being able to be published in their journals. Because usually for journals, they have been receiving lots of submissions from all the authors around the world. That's why they need to ensure that your paper is of potentially publishable quality. If your article couldn't pass the preliminary review, there's a chance that the journals or the editors wouldn't give you any feedback, because that would be such a waste of time for them if they need to give feedback to everyone who submit their article. However, if your article is accepted for further review, then good news and also bad news for you. The bad news is that the whole process of review is actually super long. Once your article is accepted for peer review, it's called a double-blinded review process. So it's a very fair process. At least when I submit my articles, it's always the case that the reviewers don't know who the author is, so that they can make a fair judgment of whether this article is suitable for publication. Usually the process can take pretty long, ranging from 4 weeks to 12 weeks. And after weeks of waiting, there are 3 possible outcomes. Firstly, the publisher or the editors may decide that they will accept your articles for publication outright. This is actually the most unlikely outcome, because very often your article is not perfect. Especially, they have some professionals or scholars who will review your articles and spot some mistakes or illogical arguments in your articles. So this is a very unlikely outcome, but if you get that outcome, congratulations, you are like a really talented writer, I would say. So it's really good, because for me personally, most of the time when I publish, I kind of need to modify my article at least once before actually publishing it. So the second outcome will be that they accept your article for publication with modification. What does that mean? That means the reviewer will actually give you some very constructive feedback on how you can actually improve your article. They will actually pinpoint which section is actually not very logical or needs some more work. Normally, you just follow the instructions of the reviewer, make the reasonable adjustment or modifications of your articles. Then your article should be fine and you will be able to publish it. Maybe sometimes you find that the reviewer's feedback is not appropriate or you disagree with that, then you need to provide them with your explanation and why you want to retain that particular section or why you don't want to modify that sections. The last outcome after submitting your article is a rejection. That's probably the worst out of all 3 options, but that's something that I experienced several times in the past, and I think it's pretty inevitable. It's just like training contract and job application. You're gonna get rejected at some point. But one good thing is that very often when they already go through the 4 weeks or 12 weeks of reviewing your articles, the journals or the editors will give you very extensive feedback on your article, how you can potentially improve it for future publication. Although these journals doesn't accept your article for publication, there's still millions of journals out there who may potentially accept your articles for publication. So what you need to do in that case scenario is to actually modify your article, further polish it so that it can become publishable, and then you will submit it again to another publisher or to another journals for publication. So don't feel disheartened if you get rejected by one journal, because you need to compete with so many PhD candidates or like professors who also submit their articles to the same journals, so that it is a competitive process as well. Maybe I also want to tell you guys a little bit about my story of publication. I told you about my publication on the juvenile drug offenders. I remember I roughly finished the article in maybe November or December 2016, and I submit the article for publication in probably January 2017. And then after I submit the articles, they need to go through the whole review process, and they replied me back in like March 2017 that my article can be accepted for publication with some modifications, so that I modified my article within 1 or 2 weeks, and then I returned back to them and gave them the latest version of my articles. And then the whole publication process is so long, because I think finally I saw the new issues of my article in about August or July 2017. So that whole process probably takes almost like 8 months to 12 months. The day that when you start writing your article and then the day that you actually see your article being published is a long journey. It could take a year. It's like you're seeing your baby being born, you know. It's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of patience as well. So guys, this is basically the publication process. I hope you guys find that useful, because I think it's always good for you to actually know about the publication process and how long the process actually takes, so that you can understand better and decide whether you actually want to go through this crazy process. Not everyone wants to do that because it's hard work and it's not easy. Thank you for watching this video, and actually you probably didn't expect me making another video that soon. Because of the virus, we are gonna stay at home. I think it's good for me to make more videos in this period of time for you guys as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel for more content. And also vote on the community session again. I will still follow that results. I really want to make this video after that video, so that you guys can have a good starting point for your article as well. Check out all other videos of me as well, because I talk a lot about training contract applications, New York bar exams, or in general how to be more competitive as a law student. I think those videos will be helpful to you if you're new to my channels. I will try to post very regularly recently, so that you guys can keep up with more recent content and to improve yourself during this period of time where you need to stay at home. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.